friends.
Hello.
Well, it's been a pretty busy couple of weeks, huh?
Definitely. I think, what was it, maybe a month ago now that we mentioned that we're moving to a new space?
Yeah, and even though this is a little bit different of a move than you usually think of, because we literally just moved right next door, still moving is tough.
Yeah, well, and in this case, we did everything with our minivan. So
We shuttled stuff back and forth.
We just like back and forth, like little ants is what I felt like. And then boxes here and there. So it was still, it's a move is a move, right?
Yeah, there's been a lot. But here we are. Today we want to share our new home with you. You know, I'm actually a little nervous about what people are going to think.
Yeah, well,
I think it's important to point out that this hasn't become possible because we've had a change in our financial situation or anything like that. This is an adventure into community, and it shows what's possible when people come together and work toward a common goal.
I don't know. I think there's a message in that we all deserve to have beautiful and good things in our life. We're all deserving. I think that's something that I have struggled with. I know you have struggled with, feeling as though I shouldn't have good things because I don't deserve them in some way. I haven't worked really hard for them, or I haven't suffered for them. And I am really trying in my life to tell myself every person, me and every person, deserves. Doesn't matter what you've done or who you are.
Yeah. I mean, this whole channel is about, trying to change the world through each of us. Us being the change we want to see in the world. And you guys probably have an image of us as living pretty Spartan. I mean, we've lived in a yurt. Our home in Hawaii was...
Did we even show people, actually?
I don't know if we even ever showed
yeah.
you guys the place in Hawaii. It was so small. We'll show you how small it was. But I think I have that same image, of myself and of us, and somehow kind of put that out to the world that there is a scarcity. And sometimes I look around and I think, maybe it doesn't have to be like that. And so this is an experiment in our life where we're going and we're living in a place that is not Spartan. I mean, this is a castle.
This is what people in the neighborhood call the mansion, okay? Which feels weird. It feels like a fairy tale. And part of that we'll address a little bit later, but part of that is the magic of building relationships, of gratitude, of community, and of following your heart, and of having a little bit of trust and just going for it. And so it's a magical fairy tale, beautiful place. And we're still trying to feel as though we deserve it and that it's actually real. But when you have things and you feel good and taken care of, then you want to share what you have. At least I do. I want everyone to feel what I feel. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna cry. I never cry. But I wish for everybody the life that we have, and it isn't about what we have. It's just that there's so many beautiful people, all of you included, and so many beautiful things, and I have so much gratitude for it, and I wish that for every one of you. My makeup's gonna run. So yeah, you're catching me crying on film. It's like never ever happened. So anyway, it's a special thing and a special place for us, and we want to share it with you, and we want to share ourselves with you so that you can see that this is possible, and that maybe you can share it and pass it on, spreading the light.
So join us today as we share a very special episode, as we share our new home with you, share how this is going to transform our videos, I think you'll find in very positive ways, and how it's going to enrich your life. What are you most excited about being here?
Everything.
Everything.
Liliana, I am wondering if you're willing to share with everyone some of the really fun animal and nature encounters that you've already had in the short time here.
Well, there are some not cute baby cardinals in a nest right next to our front door.
Okay.
There's also a baby chipmunk we're trying to tame. And hummingbirds. I found out how to get them to land on your finger.
Wow. Didn't you see a super cool frog the other day? Tree frog?
Yeah, I did.
Oh yeah. It's getting warm. Oh, what a beauty.
Oh my,
What
you are
a
so
beauty.
pretty. Oh my goodness, look at it, it's perfectly
Oh my God.
red.
This must be, gosh, freshly shed.
They're so, yeah, they're so
They're
beautiful.
so cute.
You've never seen a toad eye up close. Isn't that cool? So this is your own studio, essentially?
Yep. Mom and I have this whole room for making hobby horses.
And Liliana for her
Yes,
part,
and for her hard way.
Yeah. What are you most excited about here?
I can't choose one. There's so many things I'm super excited about. But first of all, this room at the other house, I did not have a whole room, minus Liliana's carving workstation, for making my hobby horses. So I'm very excited about that. And I have a huge lawn now that I can ride my hobby horses on, which is super exciting. And also, on the land there is room for real horses. So that is certainly a possibility that I could be making my dream of owning a horse come true sometime here.
Wow. All right, how about you?
I get asked this question too?
Yeah.
Well, like the girls, everything here is really exciting. There is so much. But for me personally, I love the birds here, feeding the birds, and just, I mean, we have that cardinal nest right out our window. Everything about it, their songs, it's just so joyful. And the other thing I'm really excited about are the gardens and the plants. I love digging and weeding and watching flowers grow and herbs and vegetables. And I'm very excited about all the wild food to forage too.
The woman who originally built this place was an herbalist. So there are so many plants here. Wild herbs, imported herbs, and wow, some of them are pretty rare. We're still learning a lot of the plants, and that's an adventure because as we go through and rehabilitate these gardens, we're discovering all kinds of treasures. Including new wild edibles like this wisteria that we didn't even know was an edible before. But the gardens are definitely a tangle, as you can see. So we are spending a lot of time untangling them. We're really excited about this garden just off the back deck. It's amazing, so many plants in here, but totally overgrown. We've started here at the beginning and are working our way back and trying to sort through what plants are here.
Okay, what about you, Kenton? What are you excited about?
There's a million things like you guys that I could say. You know, the new sense of community especially is really a big thing for me. All the plants on the land. But I'm going to get totally shallow and materialistic and talk about an item, a thing that's here that I'm super excited about. And that is this. This is an Amish cook stove. And we have always, Becca, right, wanted an Amish cook stove. We won't be able to really use it until winter, but we will show you guys how this works. These things are awesome. This heats the house, and it has a cook top and an oven. I don't think the previous owner used this at all. It's totally pristine in there. But we're going to be using it, I hope, all the time, and I cannot wait. So we're on the back porch, and we're looking out at the land, and this is probably what we're most excited about. The house is beautiful, but the land is incredible. This is, someone told me once that Nepal, even though it's such a tiny little country, has as much land mass as the United States because it's so high and rugged and you unfold it flat. So I think this is around 50 acres here, but it is hilly. So it seems like a lot more. And one of the most exciting things about the land, obviously you just heard from Mirabelle, is that maybe finally her dream can come true.
We can have horses.
Yeah. The girls have been working on this
They have been working really hard for the past 3 years to save up every little thing that they get. And Mirabelle and Liliana have started some businesses making cards, and now obviously Mirabelle and hobby horses. So they're really, really trying the best that they can, given their ages, to work towards this dream. And of course, we all know things have shifted since the pandemic. And so what was once attainable 3 years ago is slightly different now, but they're taking it all in stride. And it's just exciting to know that there's space and possibilities here.
So one thing about this land is that the house and the land, it's obviously too much for one person to take care of. And that brings us to this essentially being a community project. So there are 2 other families that we are involved with here that are part of this. So one is our friend Brett. You may have remembered him from way back. He took our Forest Monk program. He was instrumental completely in creating the school up north. I mean, it could not have happened without him. And now in this. And so he's there with us. And the other is the Kit Fox family. Now you've seen glimpses of them in some of our videos, but they, like the Amish a little bit, prefer not to be filmed and be online.
They're our wild friends.
Yeah. They're super wild.
And very inspiring. And they live very close to the earth. And they live from their hearts. And they're always inspiring us.
I feel like they take everything we do nature-wise a few steps further.
They're just incredible to be around. And we feel so blessed that we're going to get to live in community next to them. So the plan is that they'll be crafting a little homestead on this same property, just a little ways from this main house here, and that we would, together with them and Brett, all of our 3 families would begin to, what I think of as not just caretake the land, but kind of begin wild gardening. And so this used to be farmland here.
Conventional corn, I think it was.
Okay, wow. And a lot has already been done and changed, but what's beautiful is there's a diversity here. There are what we call the prairie paths. So there's open fields with prairie plants growing in them. And then there's the woods, a ravine, a stream, all kinds of different plants and animals that thrive here. And our hope is that our 3 families can not only caretake that and help that to grow, but also to be able to introduce or tend species that are more rare, and to just make sure that we can learn and live with the land in a way that is really loving.
All 3 families were really into foraging and trying to get a fair amount of our food from gathering it wild. So the concept here is that we are going to bring in more and more plants, and we're doing some domestic plants, but the wild bounty here is already pretty crazy. But
the oyster mushrooms, can we show a clip of the oyster mushrooms at some point?
Amazing.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
We just had wild oyster mushroom soup for lunch.
That was so
Cream of wild
good.
oyster mushroom
Wasn't that
soup.
good?
Oh my gosh. We're spoiled.
Feels like that right now, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's very abundant. The land is very generous, and we want to help it in return.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This land is so abundant. This is probably just 10% of what we found in the woods today. We just didn't have bags enough to carry it home. And that's part of our vision here, is that we could create enough food, not just to feed ourselves, but to be able to provide wild food for neighbors and friends and the community. The overarching idea here is to show that there's other ways than just regular agriculture to get our food. We can get it from foraging, we can get it from hunting and fishing, we can get it from roadkill. The wild provides so much with so little overhead as far as maintenance. Nature mostly takes care of herself if we let her be. I'm standing in the entryway to our new place, and Rebecca noticed these are each a foot. That if we count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and back here, we just would remove the closet 2 feet back, take this space. That was our entire house in Hawaii. Now, I have had some worries that this house is just going to be too big. I mean, it's big.
It's big. It is big, even with 2 families living in it. But there's something about, this is going to sound odd, there's something about the space in this house that makes at least me slow down, because I know it's going to take me a while to get from one space to the next, and I have a couple of options. I can get really frustrated and start to hurry, or I can just go, hey, now's my chance to take a little time, put my thoughts together, take some deep breaths.
It's like it calls us into mindfulness with that choice of, I just walked all the way downstairs and I forgot whatever.
There's some forgetfulness occasionally in this family.
What are you saying? And then, are we going to walk back up and be present? Or are we going to all the way back up? It's weirdly, I don't know if this is going to make sense to anybody. It's weirdly a little bit like when we lived in the yurt, because we had to haul our water. Nothing was close in the yurt. The things we needed, there was distance there. And kind of the medium-sized house we were in most recently before this, everything was sort of right there.
Mm-hmm.
And I always felt there like I was getting weak.
You always feel like you're getting weak. I'm sorry, that's probably too much information, but you're like, I can't, I gotta be too cold in the winter and too hot in the summer. I cannot get used to things. I'm getting too weak.
That house was very climate controlled. It was super insulated house. It was very ecological and such, but it was always warm in the winter. And I thought that affected me a little bit.
I know. You're such a wimp.
And so this, I think here, this is going to be a place of growth for us.
Yeah.
That physically, and there's so many ways we can move here that we couldn't before. There's the wide open space of the yard where the girls can hobby horse. I can do animal movement. And we have the trampoline here. There is room inside to put up our yoga trapeze. And
for yoga.
There's room for yoga. The house is big and spacious enough that you can kind of cartwheel from place to place if you want, instead of walk between narrow little corridors. And so the spaciousness, I think, is important right now in our lives for reasons that I'm not even sure we understand yet.
Yeah, I do notice, at least currently, the biggest thing I've noticed is needing to pause and realize, hey, I can go slow in what I'm doing. Because I, being the kind of perfectionist person I am, I want to get everything done and I want everything crossed off my list, even though, of course, the list is endless. And this just makes me say, but Rebecca, how about you just stop and enjoy this space that you're in? Enjoy the view from the windows. Hey, look, there's a cardinal with a nest of eggs right outside the window. Why don't you stop and look at them for a little bit? How magical is that? So I'm really appreciating that. I have gratitude for that right now.
That brings up having nature so close.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Wait.
Oh, okay.
We're defining nature here as having trees closer to us. There was nature outside of our windows where we lived before, but we really love the forest as well as the field. And so one part of the house is nestled against the trees.
Yeah.
And it feels very nice to have those two ecosystems right next to each other.
Yeah, I mean, it's brought in all kinds of new animals and critters that
raccoon encounters, and woodchuck encounters, and chipmunks, and ground squirrels, and birds, and snakes.
Yeah, it's abundant in that way of connection with all the kind of animal and plant friends that we love to connect with. So what does this mean for our YouTube channel? Before our Hawaii adventure, our YouTube channel was something that I felt like we just kind of did, but it wasn't a super big part of our life. And then we went on our Hawaii adventure and we just invited you all into our lives more. We shared more. You got to see, I think, more of our daily experiences. And we feel ready to open up even more and to connect even more. And this place, I think, is going to be perfect for that because it's inspiring an openness in us.
Yeah. I think we're imagining that we would be able to share more of our family adventures, maybe even more of what we're experimenting with in our lives. Obviously there's bushcrafting, there's foraging and all of the wild skills, but there's also parenting. There's also our journey with life and how we meet it. And in general, we tend to share videos about that content when we feel that we have experienced it fairly well and we feel comfortable with it. But there might even be some times where we just kind of share the process. Okay, we don't know what's going to happen. Come along with us. We're going to try this technique with the girls and see how it goes.
So instead of giving you just tried and true, tested things that we've worked on for a long time, inviting you into the process of exploration with us. Is that kind of what you're saying?
I mean, I think we'll try it and see and think of it almost more as kind of a family vlog. Not every video, of course, but just more of what we do. We would love to hear from you what you would like to see from our family, from our channel. What things would you want to know more about the way we live, or skills that we are sharing, or you would like to see us investigate? Do you want us to cook more? Do you want us to talk more parenting? What is it that's interesting to you? Just give us ideas, because we love to do videos that have had requests, and we know there's a certain person out there who's just waiting to hear. We're not the end experts, but we like to share and we like to hear back.
Yeah, I mean, when we began YouTube, there wasn't a lot of content on there. So we were doing more bushcrafty stuff, but so many people are doing that way better than we're doing at this point. And so what is it that you think would be unique that we could give to you? And that might be from foraging to crafted meal and getting to watch that unfold. It might be the parenting stuff, which I think, that's not a lot. I don't find that on YouTube or some of the stuff that we're talking about with parenting.
Or maybe it's something we haven't thought of that you can see of our life that you've always wondered about. Oh gosh, I wonder, what kind of toothbrush do they use or something? I mean, again, it makes me feel like I'm saying I'm a celebrity or something, which I totally don't feel that way.
They all wanted to touch your toothbrush and then lick it.
That's so gross. No, but what I mean is I often personally learn best by being able to ask somebody, what have you experienced? And a lot of times we do research into things, or we have tried things. And so again, we're all just people. If there's something you want to ask us, or you want a video us to talk about something that you're curious about, just just ask us. This is a time to ask us. And then we get to share. That's the other thing. It is reciprocal. We love your comments. I can't tell you how much it's so great to connect. I feel like because of our channel, when I think about the world out there, I think of beautiful people. I think of wonderful, kind people who are trying their best to be their best. You guys are awesome. And gals, guys and gals. I wish there was a better term. Anyway, sorry, tangential.
Hominids?
That's terrible. Peeps.
Peeps?
Okay. We got
Human units?
Oh, God, I would say humanure.
Oh, I got it.
But I mean, that anyway. Okay, we better stop.
We're going to end this video with some scenes of our new home, the land and the house. And our hope is that these can seep into your heart, that they can fill you up and in some way bring you along on this journey with us. Like you said in the beginning, any gifts that come into our life, we want to share with you. And so here's a way of sharing. Please enjoy, sit back, soak it in, and we are excited to have you on this adventure with us. On the good stuff.